Hello, it's Peter Bradshaw here from The Guardian. Welcome back to this review channel. And I've had a message here from Ron Imaginary who says, Dear Pete, which viral video do you think most symbolises your status as radical disruptor critic, challenging the bland storefront of mainstream media? Well, Ron, I think it's probably this one. With no great fanfare, Jesse Eisenberg has just given us his masterpiece. A Real Pain is an effortlessly witty, fluent and astringent comedy with a very serious overcurrent. A road movie, partly about the Holocaust and about America's third-generation attempt at coming to terms with it, confronting what their parents and grandparents found too painfully recent to revisit or necessary to forget in order to survive. And partly it's about family, male friendship and growing older. The movie affects a cool, sauntering tonal balance, teetering between the trivial and the world historically important, the title glancing at the idea of someone being annoying or experiencing authentic suffering. As writer, director and joint lead actor, Eisenberg generously allows his film to be dominated by his co-star, Kieran Culkin, whose performance is heartbreaking and hilarious, a persona obviously comparable to his Roman Roy from TV's Succession, but with something else, something more unreadable going on. His face is always alive with irony, comedy, playful hostility and mischief, switching moods with quicksilver speed. But Eisenberg will also finally let his camera rest on Culkin's immobile and mysterious face, in which, after a few silent moments, his character's future older self is revealed. He could be any age, from 20 to 40. Eisenberg and Culkin played David and Benji, two cousins from New York, respectively uptight and free-spirited, who have come to Poland to visit the childhood home of their late grandmother, a formidable woman and Holocaust survivor whom Benji has decided was the only person who ever really understood him. Eisenberg leaves it up to us to decide how much of this remembered closeness was real and how much the troubled Benji has exaggerated or invented, or if, without consciously even realising it, he is using his grandmother's giant historical tragedy to cauterize his own personal anxiety. It certainly becomes clear that her opinion of him was in fact far more complicated than Benji realises, and that these memories may be a diversionary tactic to stop himself thinking about a recent personal crisis about which David is deeply concerned. The two have joined an organised tour run by earnest Brit Guy James, a nicely underplayed turn from Will Sharp, and the group includes worldly divorcee Marcia, played by Jennifer Grey, and a Rwandan Jewish convert Eloge, Kurt Egyowan.
Not at the right station.
And you didn't wake me up.
Oh, you were having such a good nap, dude.
Jesus
you were like,
Christ, you're on a tour
sorry.
group
Yeah,
with
I know, I
people.
just didn't have the heart to wake you up.
Has he always been like this?
I love him, and I hate him,
What a flying jeez.
and I want to be him.
You used to cry about everything.
Yeah, it was awful. Who wants to cry about everything?
We're on a Holocaust tour.
Nobody uses terms like bipolar or ADHD, but Benji is hilariously unfiltered and tactless, a natural disruptor without a profit motive, always failing to read verbal cues, with a habit of telling people what to do. And yet, in his eccentricity and openness, he somehow charms the very characters that you can spend entire scenes expecting him to offend. He's a guy who is still basically unemployed and cordially contemptuous of David's boring straight job selling online ad banners and trying to loosen him up with the brick of weed he has illegally brought with him. Culkin has superb comic moments which he conjures from serious situations. He capriciously claims the moral high ground of outrage at the historic irony of a Polish Holocaust tour group sitting on a train on the very rails that carried their forebears to their brutal destiny, and doing so, what's more, in first class, a moment of self-knowledge which ends in pure farce. He persuades the entire group to join in with him, goofily clowning around at the Warsaw Uprising Memorial, and somehow the diffident David, who had thought all that in bad taste, is put in the wrong. And when Eloge tells the group he converted to Judaism partly as a result of his experience of the Rwandan genocide, Benji's instantaneous, explosive reaction is superb in its childlike honesty and wonder. The laughs he gets don't compromise the seriousness of their scenes when they reach the death camp. The film works with such an easy swing, and it isn't a stretch to compare it to the spirit of 70s pictures by Bob Rafelson or Woody Allen. Both Culkin and Eisenberg are absolutely excellent, and this is such a pleasure. Now it's time for that lovely regular feature on this channel, in which, while wandering and pondering in the sun-dappled sylvan grasslands and wooded groves of filmic culture, we chance across something rather lovely and rather special. Yes, it's Serendipity Corner. With Pablo Larraín's Maria out this week, perhaps it's time to take another look at that very interesting part of Maria Callas's career, which is not, in fact, mentioned in the new Angelina Jolie film. It is Maria Callas's sole film performance, taking the lead in Pier Paolo Pasolini's 1969 film Medea, a title which subtly echoes the star's own first name, based on the Euripides play, playing the high priestess and granddaughter of the sun god Helios, who leaves her native land of Colchis and helps Jason steal the Golden Fleece, slaughtering, in fact, her own brother in the process. She marries him, gives him children, but is then thrown over by Jason for another princess bride, whom she kills along with their children. And yes, perhaps the story does give a mysterious voice to Maria Callas's own personal anguish of loneliness and renunciation. At 46, she plays opposite the 26-year-old former Olympic athlete Giuseppe Gentile as Jason, with whom she has a languorously erotic scene. Maria Callas, in fact, sang in 1953 in Cherubini's 18th century opera Medea at La Scala, with Leonard Bernstein conducting. But this is very different. Callas is all but wordless here. We just gaze into that extraordinary face. Pasolini reinvents Callas as a silent movie star, and perhaps there is a connection between opera performance and the primitivism of early cinema acting. You can stream Medea for nothing on YouTube, though only with Italian subtitles. It really is an amazing-looking film, dreamlike, taking place on surreally parched and arid landscapes in Greece, Italy and Turkey, the kind of hostile, disturbing locations that Sergio Leone might have used, with Medea in elaborate, forbidding vestments. It really is gloriously ambitious and strange, a cousin to Pasolini's Oedipus Rex, but with something perhaps even darker, and more nihilistic, and more despairing, ending with Medea's act of murder seen first in a dream and then in real life. She screams, "Nothing is possible anymore," just before the film's abrupt ending. At the time, the difference between Marxist and Freudian interpretations of Medea in this film were supposedly very important, but seen now, the distinction doesn't seem to me terribly relevant. The sheer implacable mass of this film resists any transformative interpretation. It just sits there, and Callas's beautiful face looms over it like a pharaoh. Pasolini told Callas that she was the only woman he ever loved, apart from his mother, and his submission to her haughty presence is very apparent here. And so we lower the curtain on another vlog. Please give this one a like and a share on your socials. Please subscribe and tell me all about what you feel. And please, please, oh please, buy my book, The Body in the Mobile Library and Other Stories. See you next time.